kinetic defeat systems. It's electronic warfare. So the defense of our troops and our assets is max. I will say on some of those other assets you talked about, air wings, airframes. There's some things adversaries are doing to provide info and intel that they shouldn't. We're aware of it. And ultimately, we move things around and don't. One of the biggest principles you learn in the military is to not set patterns, predictable patterns. And so commanders are working.
Good morning, everybody.
In real time with those systems and make sure they're in the right places and not easily targeted. Jillian.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. The U.S. and Iran appear right now publicly to disagree about whether there are these negotiations ongoing. What impact does that have on military strategy? Does it have any bearing at all? And General, the president wrote yesterday that the U.S. might destroy Iran's electricity generating plants and oil wells. Those are his words before ending this operation. Is there a way to do either of those things without like seriously jeopardizing or seriously harming civilians?
So on the talks, I can tell you, having been with Steve and Jared and the vice president and Marco and many others yesterday, they are very real. They are ongoing. They're active. And I think gaining strength. And we appreciate that. As I said in my remarks, we would much prefer to get a deal. If Iran was willing to relinquish material they have and ambitions they have, open this, great. That's the goal. We don't want to have to do more militarily than we have to. But I didn't mean it flippantly when I said, in the meantime, we'll negotiate with bombs. Our job is to ensure that we compel Iran to realize that this new regime, this regime in charge, is in a better place if they make that deal. And so we'll continue. We're working hand in hand, but the primary effort is a deal. We want that deal to be accomplished if at all possible. If not, then we're prepared to continue.
What happened at
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thanks for the question. We're always thinking about those considerations and develop options to be able to mitigate those risks pursuant to the normal practices that we do in the military. So.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I know you slightly addressed this already, but just on the Strait of Hormuz, is opening the strait an essential objective to Operation Epic Fury, or is that the job of those other countries? And then secondly, without asking you to comment on things that you can't talk about, what is your message to Americans who love the president and strongly believe in him, but are very worried about this notion of boots on the ground?
Well, first on the Strait of Hormuz, our core objectives from this podium, from day one, from me, from the chairman, from the president, from the vice president, from Secretary Rubio and others have been clear. Defense missile production and missile programs, so their entire missile program, defense industrial base and production ability to build, and Navy and power projection. So those have been, and then of course, wrapping it all is Iran's never going to have a nuclear weapon. So those have been very clear. Defeating the Navy is a core part of ensuring they can't project that kind of power. But ultimately, I think the president's truth this morning lays that out very well, that this Strait of Hormuz issue, which we've set the conditions for success, and we will make sure Iran knows that very clearly, is not just a United States of America problem set. We've been willing to lead. President Trump's led the entire time, but it's not just us. So ultimately, I think other countries should pay attention when the president speaks. He's proven that when he speaks, he means something. And he's pointing out, might want to start learning how to fight for yourself. It's something some of us have been saying for quite some time. You can't just have flags. You have to have formations. You can't just have a few ships. You have enough to affect change. Those things matter in a dangerous world with ascendant adversaries. That's why the chairman's talking about our industrial base. That's why we're launching the Arsenal of Freedom tour to revive our defense industrial base. President Trump doing it in a way that nobody else has. As far as President Trump and boots on the ground, I don't understand why the base, which they have already, they understand, wouldn't have faith in his ability to execute on this. Look at his track record of pursuing peace through strength, America first outcomes. What he's simply saying, and it's exactly true, and I've said from this podium too, we're not going to foreclose any option. You can't fight and win a war if you tell your adversary what you are willing to do or what you are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are. So if we needed to, we could execute those options on behalf of the President of the United States and this department. Or maybe we don't have to use them at all. Maybe negotiations work. or maybe there's a different approach. The point is to be unpredictable in that. Certainly not let anybody know what you're willing to do or not do. But if anybody has internalized the lessons of Iraq and Afghanistan as the first one, President Trump, to call them out for what they are, he's not going to repeat those lessons. And I think I've been very clear about that from the podium.
Thank you, Secretary Hexeth. A question for you and then a question for General Kane. You said we're a month into the Operation Epic Fury. How long until the objectives are achieved? And is there a scenario where a deal is struck before the objectives have been achieved? And then for General Kane, there's been lots of media coverage that suggested a ground invasion is imminent. What other purposes might the soldiers and the Marines who have been deployed over to the Middle East serve in this conflict?
Well, just like the previous question, it's sort of military 101. Don't tell your enemy what you're willing to do or not do. And don't tell your enemy when you're willing to stop, especially an enemy that likes to hide in bunkers and try to hoard their missiles and hope you'll wait you out. So that's not a question I'm going to answer, or the president has said definitively. We have our own goals and guidance and things military objectives that we're moving toward and things that we look at. And as he's articulated, he said 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, it could be any particular number, but we would never reveal precisely what it is, because our goal is to finish those objectives. And we're well on our way. And the chairman and I look at this every single day. It will be the president's determination and the president's determination alone when those objectives are complete and when it serves the interest of the American people to cut that deal, to make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear capability and ultimately that our objectives, our interests are advanced. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, just to answer your question, Reagan, the range of military options that those forces can offer are extensive, not just limited to what you mentioned in terms of forces on the ground. And I wouldn't want to take away the president's decision space, but there are a multitude of things, not the least of which is Iran should note that they're out there and that they are a pressure point. And so they should carefully consider, I think, at the diplomatic level, not my job as the chairman, but at the
Okay, I think we stop this now, everybody. What do you think? I think we'll take a little break from that. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a good Tuesday so far. Doing a little pre-market prep this morning. I'll switch you over to the market here. There we go. Just doing a little pre-market prep. Listening to Hegseth. I mean, listening to him talk there really just reaffirms my opinion of where we are headed when it comes to this war. If we were really going to put boots on the ground comparative to Iraq or Afghanistan, we would have done it already. This troop movement, in my opinion, is a negotiating tactic for Trump to make sure Iran comes to the table to talk. And I'm going to guess that a month from now, by the end of April, the U.S. will not be bombing Iran anymore. And other countries like the UK and China are going to be more focused on seeing the strait reopened because they need resources. Tomorrow, April 1st, is the start of the squeeze for natural gas, liquid natural gas, and petrol for Asia. This is where they start to really get hurt tomorrow because they're now running out of the supply that was already delivered. They've been waiting for ships and they're not there. So other countries, I think, are going to step in to ensure their resources are transmitted through the strait, paying a toll or not, I don't know. But I would say we got a month of this max left. And I think the bombing slows down dramatically over the next couple of weeks. And I'm pretty sure we are not going to see U.S. troops on the ground, which is a really good sign, And I think that probably goes contrary to what a lot of people think. That's okay. I'm not here to agree or disagree or make you think any type of way. I'm just here to share my opinion. You're listening for my opinion. So good morning. That's the news update this morning. I wanted to come on pre-market to talk to you about my trade last night. I wanted to come on pre-market just to talk about where I think we may go today. But the big news this morning, as you see all over screen, Top One Futures, 50% off their instant funded accounts. These are the accounts that I traded to get my call up to the live account. If you didn't know, I've been trading in the live account with them since the turn of the year. I've taken over 25 payouts on this account, actually 30 payouts with the payout this morning. 929 hit the bank this morning. I have 14 payouts just in March. So it's been my best month of the year by far. I mean, only 3 months in, but a really, really good stepping stone if we look at January, February, March, which we probably should do a little deep dive of that right now, get into that with you guys. Maybe there's some lessons in there we can take. We got plenty of time until the mainstream starts, everybody. So if you're listening here, we are going to be streaming on ASFX TV. You see the link at the bottom of the screen. That's where we're live every single day. Please come sign up. It's free, right? I'm not charging you anything. It's free for a month. Come trade with us every single day. That's where you're going to see how to trade VWAP the best. These pre-market streams are nice. Fridays, we do a little extra stuff. I do giveaways all week long for prop accounts. But really, if you want to learn how to trade and be self-sufficient, you need to be on ASFX TV with us. Well worth it. Thank you, whoever that is. Thank you for saying that. So what do you guys say? You want to, I mean, I don't really have a read. I honestly wanted to maybe short the market this morning off of the value area high coming back down, but I've been really trading so well that my confidence is reaffirmed in not fighting VWAP. So I really didn't want to get on the wrong side of the overnight VWAP. And it was good that I didn't, because I would have lost. I had a win last night. We can look at that here. We can look at all my trades if you want. But this was last night's trade, 10 contracts, 63.81, and then I closed it at 75. I missed this for the exit, which would have been a nice little pump. It ends up coming a little bit lower before reversing, but I was happy with this. It added to the day yesterday, put me up like $900 yesterday. That's what made me eligible for the $930 payout. So that's where I'm at on that. The boys are the real deal. Thanks, brother. Thank you. Yeah, I think we do that, everybody. Let's do that for the pre-market prep today. Let's set this whole thing up here and go into some education to start the day. What do you guys think? A little education? I think that's a good idea. Let's just do this month. Okay. So you're looking at my trade Zella stats for the last month for March, $8,877 in profit. I have 3 red days this month. This is on average what I do. You can see if we go back to February, 2 red days. If we go back to January, 4 red days. And then going back even into December, 2 red days there on this account. I started this live account with Top One Futures on December 29th. So that's all we're looking at here is my one account capped at 10 contracts or 1 mini and no daily loss limit, no consistency score, nothing like that. So it's basically like trading my own money. And if I make over $300, I can take a daily payout. So on this account, I've taken, like I just said, 14 payouts in March, as you can see the dates here, 14 in March. But if I go all the way back here at the bottom, you can see I'm over 30 payouts now on this live account going back to December 29th. That's where the $330 was the first payout I took. If you go back even before that, I've taken a bunch of payouts here from sim accounts with Top One Futures. Those sim accounts are the instant fundeds that are now on sale for 50% off for their 1-year sale. So it's a 20% consistency score, end of day drawdown. You can copy trade now up to 5 of them if you use my code ASFX. That'll save you the biggest discount. That's 50% off each account. And these have a really large payout cap. So this is how you're going to maximize your time in sim before hopefully you do get the live call up. The live call up is sick because you're basically trading your own money, but it's not yours. It's theirs. They put the risk up and you can take daily payouts from it. So that's how I've been crushing it. That's how I've had such a good month. My total payouts this month are $8,000, a little over $8,000 across the 14 payouts. And you could literally just screenshot this if you don't believe me. Here's all of March going back to the 17th. And then here's the beginning of March here, 4 payouts in the beginning of March. So 14 total payouts, over $8,000 in total take. I figure we just go over what's working for me. Let's start with the stats and then break down some of the trades. If you're going to sit here and listen to this, you want to learn. So I know that this should be, pretty valuable for you. So let's do that now. I get this camera on. Forgot. Okay, good. Okay. And we got 30 minutes until the mainstream starts, everybody. So we have plenty of time here this morning to go over these trades. Yes, they're called Instant Sim. The next Brian VWAP. Yeah. I got Brian coming to our event next month. I'm super stoked. For those of you that don't know, I will be at the Prop Firm Expo in June too. If you're in London and you can get to this, Prop Firm Expo is June 27th. I will be one of the speakers there. So definitely try to get yourself there if you can. So that's last night's trade. Yeah, so I think we should start with the stats and then go into everything from there. I think that would make the most sense. Austin, did you take any trades after stream yesterday in the Discord? Didn't see in the Discord. I did, Craig. I'll post them now. We'll go. Let's just go into all of that. Let's go into all that. Okay. Over the last 30 days, I've taken 14 payouts for over $8,000 in total take home pay. The kicker with this is that I'm not spending any money on prop challenges, everybody. That's what I want to get across to you is if you grow with a good firm and get called up to the live environment like I have with Top One Futures, you're going to put yourself in a position to not be spending a ton of money or any money at all on prop challenges. So every little payout, every little dollar you take is straight profit right into the pocket, right into the bottom line. So 14 payouts in March. I'm now at over 30 payouts on the live account that I started December 29th. The 14 payouts this month, I've taken home total over $8,000 from those payouts. You can see the stats this month over the last 30 days, 84% trade win rate, 2.85 profit factor, 85% day win rate. So what does that really mean? It means I'm winning 18 days with 3 losing days. It means I'm winning 42 trades, losing 8 trades. That's what that means. So my win rate is really high, which allows me to not worry about my R multiple, which is right here, my average win to loss. I don't have to worry about this being less than 1 because my win rate is so high. And I know some of you are going to comment on this video and be like, well, Austin, is your win rate always that high? Why don't we just look at the whole quarter, which is the entire year, 82% win rate on this one account. We're looking at the one live account. Remember, I don't have a consistency score with this. That's one of the good things about it. The only con is I am capped at 10 micros or 1 mini. So I can't go make $10,000 a day on this account, but I can make 500, 300, 1,000 and take those out every single day. That's how I have so many payouts. That's how you get 14 payouts in a month, 30 payouts in the first 3 months of the year. You're taking these daily payouts, everything over basically $300. The reason you do that is because Top One, as of this video, Top One does not have a scaling plan. There's no benefit to me leaving the profits in this account. So I'm just taking the money, putting it straight in my bank account, and I can spend it however I want. Blow, hookers, funding my other account, whatever I want to do, whatever you want to do. So the win rate has been high. I wanted to just show you that it's been that way for a long time. If you've been following my videos, you know I always run a pretty high win rate and I don't worry about R multiple. So if we look on the green days versus red days, 3 red days is my average per month. So it's really about what do I do on those red days that determines how many payouts am I going to take. How many days is it going to take to recover those red days to then get back to taking daily payouts? That's the kicker. This month, I ended up sizing up a little bit. You can see mid-month, that's what probably led to me having my best month of the year. But it also led to some bigger losses, $1,200 and $900 losses on a Friday and a Monday, middle of the month, but recovered quickly, ended the week green, and then stacked from there. So now I'm actually on a little bit of a green streak, as you can see, running from the 17th until today. I want to then deep dive, though, quickly. I'll show you February. You see 2 red days. That's it. January, 4 red days, right? I want to deep dive, though, just the last 30 days of stats and then compare it to the other 3 months of the year. And then we'll go into the markups. So in TradeZella here, which if you use the code ASFX, you'll get 20% off TradeZella. You can start tracking all your trades. You have to be doing this. So if you look, this is a really good month, $8,800 in profit. Average win, 325. Average loss, 600. Number of trades, 50. 42 of them are wins, okay? Average hold time on wins is about an hour. And on my losses, it's like all day, 4 hours. So I'm staying in those losses long, trying to defend the position sometimes. And that ends up actually working for me in my favor sometimes to minimize the loss. The wins, 56 minutes, that's because I'm sometimes trailing a piece of it. But most of the time, if I can get in and out in 15 minutes, that's what I want to do. One thing that's interesting with TradeZella is we can click the filter at the top and we can filter it by side of the trade. So we can look at just longs or shorts. So watch this. On the long side, I have 28 total trades, 23 wins, 5 losses. If we just flip that, so only 5 losses with 23 wins, flip that, 19 winning shorts with only 3 losses. So my shorts on the win rate has actually improved this month comparative to the other months if you've watched my other monthly recaps. But this month, overall, both longs and shorts have both been good for me. Let's go back to February really quick, just so you can see this, right? Look at my average win of 325, average loss of 600, 42 wins, 8 losses. Watch. Let's go back to February and look at the same stats. It's a little bit shorter of a month, but still. Average win, 241, average loss, 574. I still made 3,600 in February, 34 wins, 8 losses. So still a high win rate. Everything there still looks good. Winning trades, 33 minutes, losing trades, almost 2 hours. Same thing that you see this month, right? Same thing. Average daily P&L, 212. Average winning day, 340. So still looking really good in February. And then look at January, smaller, but then you can see the incremental steps I've taken each month. I only made 2,900 on the account in January. I had 25 wins, 6 losses. Average P&L was 163. Average winning day was only 287. So you can see how as I got the live account at the end of December, January was profitable, February was better, and now March, I'm really rocking and rolling with it. So you can see the stats to this now, right? I think that helps give this some color. So let's go over some of the trades. Something that's been working for me is trading in the Asian session, like last night here. I really have 2 ways of trading the Asian session. One way that I'll trade it is I will look for reversions, meaning we set a bottom or a top and I'll trade away from it. Last night, because we had so much momentum into the close yesterday, I thought we may retest those lows in the Asian session. So if you look to the left, you can see here, we had a big push down into 4 o'clock into the end of the day. It bottoms and bounces a little bit after market close. So I'm then watching an Asian session saying, does this low hold? Does this low hold? Maybe we trade away from it on the bottom of VWAP, trading back into these lows to the left. And we did. So I took 81 into 75. That was the trade last night. And you can see I'm not marrying this thing for like some massive move. I'm sprinkling green, and then that leads to a good payout. So I'll show you a couple of Asian session trades as we go along today. That was last night. Yesterday, I had a couple of good trades. With the Asian session here, a little bit more of the reversion stuff to start the week. We get a gap down on Sunday night. We see a bottom set. I see it tested here and here. So I'm like, okay, let's trade away from the bottom. Give it space to retest it. I put the stop 20 points lower. Give it space to do this. Again, experience pays because you just know levels like to be tested. And I'm looking for something back into these highs. And that's where I was out of the trade here, you can see. So I was long at 73, 10 contracts, out of the trade at 88. So that's the other way that I'll like to play the Asian session, more of the reversion, not following the VWAP. I'm not going to see a gap down on the start of the week and then sell this for continuation because that's not usually how I see the market moving. So that's how I'll trade the reversion Asian session stuff. And then I had 2 trades in the New York session yesterday. I think they were both really, really good trades. First, 5 contracts long at 25, out at 44. Then I bought it again at 43 and I sold it at 47. So I'll break it down for you. First, we see sellers take control. All the VWAPs on screen, everybody, are automated with our indicator. If you click the link in the description, it's asfx.biz/indicator. It's easy to find. That will automate them for you. So we see sellers push us under New York VWAP, through previous day VWAP, through opening range low, and down to the overnight VWAP. Also sitting there was the value area low. So you have overnight VWAP and value area low starting to act as support. Some of the guys in the chat started looking for longs in here. I like that. Then some people were looking for shorts in here. I like that too, but I think you're pinching between 2 VWAPs, so you have to be aggressive. Trade to the VWAPs, not through the VWAPs in that scenario. Write that down. But I didn't do any of that. I waited. But when we double bottom here off of the value area and the overnight VWAP, I'm like, okay, we may pop and set some type of lower high. This could be a lower high before trend continues lower. So I'm in at 25 and I'm out at 44. 20 points quick. I'm in at 10:53. By 11 a.m., I'm basically out of the trade. Done. So that was half size, only 5 contracts, because I had to get in right before we broke New York VWAP because I liked the stop loss at the low of day. So that's me being aggressive, if you called it any. Then I'm thinking, okay, this is the lower high. We're going to come back down and make new lows. It doesn't do that. It actually makes higher lows off the bottom, takes New York VWAP here, higher low again. So I'm like, okay, let's try again. So I buy it at 43 and I'm out at 47 because I had to go work out, had to leave the desk. This ended up literally almost being the top. The market dumped the rest of the day. And in the afternoon near 2 o'clock, I took one more trade. It was short at 64.03 and I closed it for 3 points at 6,400. And look at that thing just dump. All I'm trying to do now is not fight the VWAP. A lot of people in the afternoon after a sell-off will come in and try to buy it, but we're underneath overnight VWAP and underneath New York VWAP. So I'm just trying to get on the right side of it. Now I'm doing that more. I'm not fighting the VWAP as much, but now I got to get better at holding these trades and staying in this thing as it dumps, staying in it until the buyers tell me to get out of it, right? That's the right way to read the VWAP. So that was yesterday's trading session, $900. Really, really good day. Friday had some good trades as well. You can see I took this one on vacation. I was actually with the family in Fort Lauderdale. So we were at breakfast, headed to the airport. The guys were running the stream. Sellers take control. Buyers set a lower high. I'm in that for a slide down into that opening range low. It had not broken the range yet, right? You see opening range high is set here in the first 15 minutes. So I'm trading middle of range down to opening range low. That's why I'm out of it at 65, 75 to 65, 10 points. Like I'm just looking for my 10-point nut. That's all I really need. Friday ended up giving a couple of good trades off that level. Thursday, got a win here as well, 388. This one's really nice. I like this trade a lot. So you have overnight VWAP trending down pre-market. Buyers step in and like sit there all session. Trend is still down. So when buyers can't continue to make higher highs and higher lows, and we're sitting on the overnight VWAP, that dotted line, I start to think, all right, this might be making its lower high and we may leg lower. But I can't just jump into it before we break New York VWAP. So we get some juice here at 10 a.m. Or excuse me, that was a Trump tweet at 10:45. I get in on the right side of VWAP when we break underneath it, and I trade from, what is that, 66.05 to 65.96. Again, just 10 points. And I got to do better to hold it because the target was opening range low. So I'm trying to get that double break where we break the opening range high first. Now we go break the bottom, trading back in trend. The key with this trade, everybody, if you're still listening, if you're still with me, this is the most important thing. I'm not buying here because I see the direction of VWAPs. And I know if we take New York VWAP, I'm going to say, oh, candles are under New York VWAP, under overnight VWAP, and previous day New York VWAP is up there. So we have full VWAP alignment to the downside. So I'm not going to want to be long in a situation where as soon as sellers step in, then I'm going to want to be short. I'm going to wait on the long and then just take the short. I think that that's a really important lesson you can take from me. Okay, so these are the trades while I was on vacation. Yeah, so we caught this long off a bounce there, and then the first one was this one. So again, just trading on the right side of VWAP. Sellers take control. I'm underneath overnight VWAP, opening range low, and New York VWAP. I take the trade. The stop has to go at the session high, and I'm out of the trade here right before it dumps, of course. That's trading on vacation for you. After it dumped, I ended up catching a little buy off of previous day VWAP and the value area high. So another little tip, I like double level trades. Previous day VWAP sitting on value area high, double level. I like that if I'm going to play any type of reversion trade. 2 levels, not just a VWAP, not just a value area high, both of them. Let's go back to Monday. This was a Asian session trade again here. So big gap down on a Sunday. I like the bottom for the pin, and then I'm looking to go trade and fill that gap. And that was this one, 65.24 to 65.37. That was this one. So you can see I can take this all the way, going all the way back to last month. Here's Thursday. I was doing some eval stuff here with that one. We don't need to worry about that. Yeah, this is the trade with prop for Match TV. So you can see took some payouts that day. And this was a really good day in the New York session Wednesday here. Took shorts. Again, like you see, I don't force myself to rush trades in the beginning of the day. This trade's at 11 o'clock and it pays pain free, basically. A little bit of a drawdown on that New York VWAP retest, but easy. And then more. Look, I'll work it more. 67.34 to 67.28. Then I'll work 32 back down to 28. I'll keep working it to just play the right side of the VWAP, you know? And I think if that's, if consistency is something you're looking for in your trading, if you're looking for any payouts in a month, I mean, I have 14 in a month. I have 30 already this year, and it's not even April 1st yet. If you're looking for consistency, it starts in this. It starts in the journaling and having the markups, studying them for pattern recognition. I'm not a big believer in back testing because I think that creates an illusion of statistics that you think you need to live to. I just think you need to back test for pattern recognition and then just go trade and execute the trades, mark up the trades, and ask for feedback. It's that simple. If you're not getting what you want out of trading, you're not following the formula. Trade, mark up the trades with notes, feedback, and thoughts. Ask for feedback on that trade, and then keep taking the trade with those tweaks. It's a cycle. That's the improvement cycle. But a lot of you are just taking random entries. You're just gambling. You're clicking randomly. I can't help you if that's who you are. You got to want more for yourself. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully me going over this review gives you guys some insight. Like I said, we have a big event coming up in May. Then I'll be at Prop for Match Expo in June. So there's a lot of chances to keep learning this year. If you're not where you want to be with your trading, there is no excuse. There's so much information out there on the internet. There's so many good resources available. There is no excuse for you not to make it. You just got to keep growing. You got to stay humble. You got to have the humility to ask for the feedback. A lot of you think you know better, when in reality in trading, smarts don't lead to profits. You think it needs to be more complicated than it is. You try to make trading more complicated because you think if I'm smarter, I'll be more right. If I'm more right, I'll make more money. That ain't it. That is literally backwards. I do well because I don't think that about myself. And then lastly, Top One Futures, still 50% off, everybody, with this 1-year sale. You know, it's funny. Some of the people, I won't say names, some of the people run other prop firms were saying Top One Futures won't even last 90 days. We kept the receipts. Here we are a year later. I'm honored to have been a part of Top One's launch last year. I'm honored to have been a part of the changes they made this year to make the product awesome. So now to be 50% off the OG accounts, the one that I've taken a ton of payouts on, all these payouts from back when I started were all on instant funded accounts. Take advantage. When I started with Top One, when they launched, you could not copy trade up to 5. So 20% consistency, end of day drawdown, and copy trade up to 5 at 50% off. Stupid. It's 60% off your first one if you're a new customer too. So take advantage. How's the market doing? Yeah, not too much higher. Can you reiterate why you had a long bias yesterday? New York VWAP was under opening rate. So the long bias yesterday really came from the pre-market move and me knowing markets don't like to bottom on Mondays. So again, it's just bias. Like I have a bias sometimes that the markets will do a certain thing and I try to hold that bias really loosely. Like I still took a short in the afternoon yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not dramatically married to the longs, but here they were. I see the trend coming from overnight. I see the pullback into value area level and overnight VWAP, and I know it might bounce from those two levels. Remember that I just said the double levels, value area and overnight VWAP. I can't be bearish until that's broken. Some of the guys tried shorting this, and if you are too aggressive and you think it's going to break through, you end up with nothing. Thomas was one of the guys in the Black Shirt Club who did that. So instead of me getting stuck in that short, I'm just waiting until I can no longer wait, and then I got to try the long. You could have bought it on the break of the New York VWAP there, still made money there, and still made money here. I think I traded it really well on the longs, especially considering there was no follow through on the long. So it's a good question, though. Shiba loaf. It's a good question. I hope that answers it for you. Okay, we're going to be moving over to ASFX TV in a couple of minutes, everybody. Do you have any questions for me before we wrap up? You can click the link in my bio, sign up for ASFX TV. It's totally free. Got nothing to sell you, nothing at all. Just come hang out with us and you'll see how we trade and you'll see how easy it is to follow along and learn how to read VWAP for yourself. Sometimes I feel like going against the overnight VWAP burns you more than going against the New York VWAP. I disagree with that, Bobby. That's just my opinion, man. I'll fight the overnight VWAP. Once New York VWAP is in play, meaning from 9:30 Eastern on, then I will fight it all the time. But like this morning when I wanted to be short off value area, I talked myself out of it because I don't want to fight the overnight VWAP because that's the VWAP that's in play right now. There's no New York VWAP. New York session hasn't started yet. It's like the same long for that reason you can't respect overnight. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, by the book, above value area high now tells me that we may move higher in the New York session today. So going into the New York session, you'll hear me on stream say, we're either going to wait for a pullback into POC, into the overnight VWAP, and then look to see if we can trade from there, or we're going to look for longs above value area high. That's going to be the play. I don't see us looking for shorts for a while. It would have to dump and get down in here for us to look for shorts. So in terms of importance, how do you list each VWAP? Overnight, previous New York is the least important. Then overnight, and then New York VWAP is the most important. You think you'll ever get a scanner to find your setups or you just stick to one ticker? I just like trading ES, bro. The indicator helps me see what's going on the other markets, but like I'm doing fine trading ES. Yeah. Almost 10K this month in payouts. Just trading ES with max 10 contracts. It's pretty good. Yeah, you got it, Bobby. I'm going to go take a break, though, everybody, for a few minutes so my wife doesn't divorce me, and go say good morning to her and my son. But I will see you guys on ASFX TV. Thanks for tuning in to the pre-market prep. Click the link in my bio. It is totally free. Come hang out. And again, all of the accounts at Top One Futures are on discount, but right now the instant funded's 50% off for the anniversary sale. So take advantage, and I'll see you guys in 20 minutes on stream.